Tonight, Pfizer says a booster shot, a third dose of its current vaccine, could offer Americans 5 to 10 times more protection against COVID. Given 6 months after the second dose, Pfizer believes those inoculated would be highly protected against the Delta variant, which is now exploding across the U.S. The company expects to deliver new data to the FDA within weeks and is also working to develop a Delta-specific version of its vaccine. It comes as new COVID cases and hospitalizations both climb at a dangerous pace. Some hospitals are now in the middle of their most dire days.
The competition for beds is higher now than it was during the peak last year.
Perhaps the nation's new epicenter, the Delta variant, is now fueling over 90% of cases in parts of Missouri. With a federal surge response team on the ground, 93% of COVID patients in one ICU are on ventilators.
We're seeing some younger population become very ill. We see patients becoming more ill quicker than we did before.
I'm so glad that's over.
Though vaccines are effective against Delta, the unvaccinated are fueling the spike. With a third of adult Americans not yet inoculated, researchers at Georgetown say these 5 under-vaccinated clusters of the country could become a breeding ground for new variants, putting the rest of the nation at risk.
As Pfizer and Moderna both get closer to a booster shot, it's important to note that the FDA will have the final say on if one is actually needed. Pfizer also says they expect to release more data soon that shows a decline in vaccine efficacy 6 months after the second dose.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.